Very good morning. Okay, a very good morning to one and all present in the session. I hope it's a pleasant morning for everyone. So, today's topic is about stress management. So, what do you understand by stress management? Okay, so are you stressed? What kind of stress do you find in this? What is exactly stress? Why do you feel stressed? What is the main reason that you feel stressed? It's because of any work pressure, it might be, or it might be because of there's someone you're held up with too many commitments and you're not able to manage it properly, isn't it? Only then you feel highly stressed. Be it, there might be different situations where you can face through. So, how do you handle stress? So, there are different ways where you can handle stress, isn't it? Some people tend to meditate, and some people tend to go out for a walk, and some people tend to, guys, am I being audible? Okay. So, some people tend to go out for a walk, isn't it? So, there are different ways where you can get relieved from the stress. Where people tend to handle stress in different methods, isn't it? They tend to find peace where they tend to get distract by playing with any puppies or playing with kids or be it of watching movies. So there are different ways where people have, some people like to hear music, when they want to come out of that stress level, they tend to hear very melodious music which can relax their mind, isn't it? So when what are those things that you tend to do when you are stressed? So what exactly is stress? It is a Stress is the body's automatic response to any physical or mental demand placed on it, isn't it? Now, say for example, when you're uh, working on something, say for example, you are in such a situation where you are supposed to do, if you're a college student, you are supposed to do a college fest on coming Jan 1st or Jan 2nd, whenever it is, and you're running out of time, and at the same time you're having exams in the mid of Jan, but your management is forcing you to take uh, fest on that day. So isn't it that kind of stress? Because it's just left with 15 to 20 days, and you tend to take stress a lot. There is a lot of preparation that has to be needed for any kind of college fest, isn't it? So how do you handle it? So there is something called as adrenaline, that is a chemical naturally produced in our body as to respond stress. You know, when you're getting stressed or when you're getting angry, there are a lot of positive neurons that gets crashed, where you tend to lose your energy, where you tend to have less patience to hear whatever is going around. Whatever silly things you feel it like something annoying to you, isn't it? Have you ever felt that when you're stressed, what kind of pressure that falls to your brain, telling that this is the time given, where you cannot even yell at them, but still you try to handle the situation. How are you going to do that? You try to you don't have enough time to handle things. You don't have enough time to uh, invite for the colleges. You don't have enough time to arrange for what clubs you have to do. You have to manage a team when it comes to college, isn't it? There are many things that you have to manage, and you're given a deadline telling that this is the day. Within 20 days you're supposed to do a task, or even be it if it is four or five members of a group and you are supposed to do a task, and you're not able to proceed further because of that stress. But at some point of time, even the college will be stressing you on that, telling these are the dignitaries who's coming. So you have to maintain that. You have to, there should be some strength when these dignitaries are coming. So not exactly the same, but there are many situations as such where you would face, isn't it? Not exactly when it comes to not exactly when it comes to college itself, even when it comes to your work, where you are given a specific task. You're given a task which is exceeding your time limit, where it is exceeding your energy, where you have 110 10 things to do, and still you are given a task to complete that. So that adrenaline will automatically produce more, so that that tends to show your stress, where you start sweating it, where you start getting anger, is it not? You try to get anger when you are not able to follow whatever the steps provided to you. You don't have time to manage it. You're completely organized for the day, and you're completely organized with whatever the task you have, and immediately you're given some other almost another 10 to 15 tasks to manage it. Don't you feel it stressed? Then fight or fight responses elicited. Fight is like when you're not even able to control it, when you're completely about to outburst, telling that this is what it is. I'm not able to do that. How can you even give it to me? How can I all alone do this task. So you tend to revert back with the person who is giving you stress. Be it, say for example, now if a person is not able to handle his personal life and professional life, say for example he would have been having some disturbances with the personal lives, and when it comes to office, again he would be having another stress on professional. He would be thinking more of his personal, and again he would be handling some kind of professional stress, where he would be dumped with so much of work. Don't you think? And someone else comes and tells that or cracks a jokes or whatever it is, don't you think the person will get stressed on it? He feels very annoyed, he feels very disturbed, isn't it or not? He tends to find he feels like uh, banging things, he feels like throwing things away, he feels like yelling at someone else. So there are many ways where a person can express his stress. Sometimes when you're giving a pressure, though he might be smiling, but when you give him a shake hand, he'll try to hold your hand very tight. So that is how he's showing some stress. There are other people who tend to manage stress in such a way that they would be having a sponge ball or some kind of gadgets to reduce their stress. And some people tend to play with the pen or fidgets. So there are many kinds of things which relieves stress. Some people feel reliefs when they are playing with a Rubik's cube. Some people get to relax their stress. They try to relieve from their stress by playing with some kind of fidget spinners or whatever it might be, whichever gadget is available. Some people tend to relax from their stress by having a cup of coffee. So there are many ways where people tend to so how do you manage stress in that way? Is all stress bad? No. Moderate stress levels of stress may actually improve performance and efficiency. Where when you're not provided with any kind of pressure from the office or with your work, when you're not given a specific time, then you don't tend to do that work. Is it or not? So when you're given some kind of pressure telling that now if you're given 10 tasks to be completed within a day, so don't you think you try to manage things, you try to handle things very well, you try to manage which comes first, which is the first priority, then which comes next. So you'll try to moderate it. So that is not a bad stress. It is something you're having pressure on yourself, how you would tend to complete the task, isn't it? Then too little stress may result in boredom. When you're given 10 tasks and you're given 10 days of time, there is no stress at all. There is very little stress where you take each day to complete one single task, isn't it or not? So it depends on how the situation is given to you. On that way, you tend to get stressed. Why does this stress come? It's because of someone pressurizing on you. So, too much stress may cause unproductive anxiety level. Now, the same time, as I told you before, when 10 tasks are given to you and you're provided with 10 days of time, so there is no stress level, it is completely 0%. Is it or not? Where you tend to take your own time, you can provide quality output. So, you try to make things clear, you try to organize things. Say for example, now first day first task is given to you, what is there to prioritize and how do you prioritize things? So that is how you tend to have a checklist like this is how it is going to be within this time. If 10 days is given and you can complete your work on 8th day itself, then where is the stress? You don't feel stressed to complete your task. But at the same time, when it is given only 2 days of time to complete the task, there are a lot of things. It is almost calculated like 5 tasks in a day and 5 tasks in the other day, where it is everything is important. You don't know which to prioritize where in that out of 10, which one to do for the first day, which one to complete for the second day, isn't it? So not you tend to undergo with a kind of anxiety level where you try to stammer in getting things done. You try to make it there won't be much productivity. The quality of work output would be very less, isn't it? So these are some kind of things. Good morning, Ali. Good morning. So these are some kind of stress that you would come through, but not all stress that you undergo is good or bad. Okay. So let's get further. That is identifying stressors. So how do you identify stress? What are those situations that you go across? So there are certain situations or activities or and relationships that cause a trauma to one's physical or emotional or physical physiological self. So there are certain situations. Say for example, now you are in work and you tend to get a call telling that there would you would be hearing some kind of emergency from someone of your friend or any one of your family members calling for an emergency purpose. But you have no other go that you have to complete the task. You are in held up with some kind of meeting. Do you think it is going to happen? Both the things are important. You never know what kind of emergency is over there, and you can't even leave if you are held up with some important meeting with some international clients or whoever it is where you're in an office. So don't you think that you start coming up with an anxiety where you can't even express that when you're in meeting, where people don't understand? But the thing is, you are supposed to be there. You are very much intent to attend for what emergency that has been occurred, isn't it? So that is how you tend to get stressed on this. Then what kind of activities? Good morning, Rachna. Good morning, Nafiz. Good morning. So what kind of activities that make you stressed? There are many activities that can make you stressed, like say for example, um okay, so you are told given a task telling that you are supposed to complete this task at this point of time. You're given a task which can be done for 2 days, and you're told to complete it only within 2 hours. How is it possible? The work that takes 2 days of time, and you're given an instruction telling that you have to complete it within 2 hours. Don't you think those kind of activities that makes you stressed a lot, isn't it? Then we'll proceed further in which all places we tend to find stress. So first thing is school. What kind of stressors have you found in school when you were in school? What kind of stress that you have come across? Anybody? Anyone? What kind of pressure that you would have faced in school? Getting ranks, scoring good marks. You've been told from your parents telling that if you're getting good marks, you would be placed for very good college. You would be admitted to good colleges, isn't it? That is some kind of stress that is given to you, telling that you have to score. Where your parents start stressing you, telling that you have to score 80%, you have to score 90%. That is one kind of stress. And the second thing is, when it comes to, some people tend to find difficulties in different subjects, especially. Some of them might be good at science, some of them might be good at social studies, or there are many things like that, isn't it? You try to come across all those stress, then you try to find at that moment you'll not even know what kind of stress, especially when it comes to high school, when you're in SSLC, where you tend to score good marks. It is a public exam that you're facing, and you are not so well prepared for the exams. Don't you feel stressed at that moment? You don't even know which one to start with. There's only 1 month left out, and you don't even know which subject to start with, whether to start with socials, whether to start with science or mathematics, isn't it? So there are many ways where you get stressed in school. Next comes work. When it comes to work, what kind of work pressures do you find? What kind of stress do you find at work? In work, you try to find out stress such as the task given to you could not be completed, or the team leader or the team or the manager is been stressing on you that you are not giving proper productivity, where there are 5 tasks given to you and you are not even able to complete one particular task. So there might be very different situations where you're handling some other clients, and there might be various different situations uh, where you tend to find stress, that which one to prioritize first, which work to get it completed, where your manager is forcing you to do one thing, but you're told you're given some other work, isn't it? So these are some kind of stress that happens. Then when it comes to family, what kind of stresses do you find in family, especially when you're if you're students and you're scoring less marks? So there are certain people who come and taunt on your marks, or taunt on what work you're doing, or if you're earning less, what kind of taunts do you hear from the family members, or whoever across the family? So those are some kind of stress that you inculcate, isn't it? Then it comes to relationships. There are many things that happens in relationships, such as you tend to have a quarrel with your partner, or there might be even with your friends. Relationship might be in terms of friends also, where you don't have proper communication happening and you try to have a quarrel with them, you try to fight with them, where your friend does not understand the situation what you are in, isn't it? So these are some kind of things that happen. Then it comes to legal. When there are things that you are not doing, when you are not doing what the company has, some certain rules which has to be followed, And if you are abiding the rules, then don't you think that is a kind of a stress, isn't it? Then when it comes to finances, especially, you are planning, say for example, you are supposed to pay exam fees for some subject, or test fee for any course, and you are supposed to do that course to get a job, but you are not very well financially settled. So don't you feel that is kind of stress, where they're given you correct time telling that you are supposed to pay the fees at this point of time, but you are not having a well financial status where you cannot even cover up to that moment. So that is another kind of stress. Then when it comes to health and illness, when you're thinking all of the above 6 points, don't you think this is all comes which affects for the health, isn't it? Where you try to go in such a situation where you're not even having proper food because of that stress. You try to think a lot, you try to work on that, you forget about having your food, and you try to there would be a mental illness that would you go across, isn't it? Where you tend to you get headache, where you are facing such kind of stress. Your body reacts in a different manner when that adrenaline is increasing day by day, when you're having so much of stress, isn't it? Then coming to uh, I'm sorry, personal issues, yes, Ali, correct. So those are some of the issues that would come across. Then what are the negative effects of stress? First thing is physical. So when it comes to physical, what are the negative effects that would happen physically? When you take a lot of stress, you try to gain weight or you try to lose weight, isn't it? When you're given a work for around 9 to 6, that is your work timings, and you tend to extend the work. So some people, when they are getting too stressed, when they are supposed to handle too many tasks, they tend to go under stress. They feel stressed about work, what they're doing, isn't it? Where they tend to lose weight. Why? Because they don't have their food properly. They just have concentration on their work to be getting completed. Then there are chances of hair loss. Why? Because your brain gets heated up a lot because thinking about so many things, isn't it? Then heart palpitations, isn't it? You try to think a lot. There are people who are weak minded or weak hearted, where you're given too much of pressure. Your blood pressure keeps increasing or your blood pressure gets decreased, isn't it? See, when there is heights of stress given to you, you are supposed to do that. There is someone pressurizing on your head. They're just bumping on your head, telling that yes, you are supposed to sit and complete the work at any cost. You're not supposed to go out. So when someone tells you like that, don't you feel it is very stressed? There is some other work that you have been committed, but you have no other go. You have to get things done, isn't it? Have you ever faced it? These are some kind of things which you undergo. Then comes emotional. Once physical things are done, these are some things that happen to physical body when you are undergoing stress. Then coming to your mental ability, what happens? You'll be having mood swings. What do you understand by mood swings? Say for example, now suddenly you'll be completely happy, and suddenly you remember about your work, telling that you're supposed to complete the task tomorrow. Immediately your mood changes, isn't it? You try to get into such kind of dilemma where you're completely happy and someone comes and talks to you even jovially, you tend to yell at them. So those are certain kinds of mood swings that would happen when you're under complete stress. Then anxiety, you'll be totally worried, you can't even sit at one place for few minutes, for few seconds. You'll always be thinking about something where you try to bite your nails, where you try to keep plucking things here and there, whichever whatever is in your hand, you try to keep breaking things, isn't it? If you're given a flower, then you start plucking petals of it, isn't it? So these are some kind of symptoms for anxiety where you tend to do things without your conscious. Then when you're too very stressed, that can lead to depression. When you're completely stressed, yes, pressured on that, yes, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have no other go. When you're completely with that, you don't even have space to breathe, especially you don't even have time to walk around. Don't you think you get stressed? Especially most of them get addicted to smoking, some of them get addicted to drinking, isn't it? This can also lead to unhealthy things. You try to go and smoke, you try to consume alcohol, isn't it? So these are some kind of things that would emotionally happen. You feel like some people not just undergo these smoking or consuming alcohol or anything. Some people have some other kinds of getting relaxed from such kind of things, where some people just try to have a walk around, isn't it? So we'll keep getting further. That is, sorry students, there's a lot of technical issues happening. Okay, so there are certain ways where various people tend to relax from stress. How do they manage stress? Especially when it comes to company CEOs. How do they manage stress? A CEO is never off duty. He'll be under so much of pressure. Say, for example, Sir Narayan Murthy, sir, for Infosys chairman. How does he handle stress? Ratan Tata, sir, how does he handle stress? How does Ambani sir handle stress? Isn't it? How does CEO of Google, that is Mr. Sundar Pichai sir, handle stress? Isn't it? A person who is CEO of Google, who will be working for not just for 9 to 6 or whatever time, he should be active all the time. How does he come across this kind of stress? Isn't it? So there are certain ways where people tend to manage stress. First is body relaxation exercises, where some people tend to follow yoga. That is the best way to relax your stress. Your breathing techniques. When you're completely under stress, your breathing becomes very fast. You try to breathe faster. Have you ever faced that? Even when you're in anger, Even when you're in anger, where you try to breathe faster, your breathing becomes very swift, that you start getting anger, isn't it? It's not just when you are under stress. Even when some of your friend is under stress and he is explaining it to you, even you try to follow in the same way. You try to follow, you try to put yourself in his situation, and even you try to take that stress. Have you ever faced it? Then comes guided imaginary, where you are there are people who tend to meditate, where you try to hear certain someone giving you a very soothing instruction, telling that relax your mind, stay calm, sit in a proper position. So that is something like guided imagery, where you are given a situation to close your eyes, and then you are told to imagine this kind of situation. This is a nature where you are, imagine that you are in a nature place where you're about to face a cool breeze. Have you ever experienced it? Where some people tell it in such a soothing way, where your imaginary ability keeps getting to some other state, where you try to imagine your own world, you try to imagine your old space, isn't it? Have you ever faced that? Then comes with physical exercise, where most of them tend to do yoga. Some people go for workout routine, isn't it? Most of them get stressed by jogging. They try to jog faster, they try to sweat out. So these are some kind of things where people try to follow it. There are many other techniques like this, where some people give physical when they're stressed out. Some people give exercise for their body, some people give exercise to their mind, isn't it? And some people get relieved while they're sharing it with their friends or family members or for parents, telling that there would be some kind of a reduction when you tend to share things, isn't it? Then third comes meditation. Yes, I would strongly recommend this. Why? Because I also follow this. Why? Because whenever you're stressed, always remember one thing. I would just give one single thing. Whenever you're stressed, just close your eyes, wherever you are. Just close your eyes, make yourself relaxed, and then just count from 1 to 10. Just 1 to 10. You just have to count. Okay, just relax yourself, don't hear anything. Once you're highly stressed, that you're feeling that you're getting stressed, you're getting pressurized from someone, make yourself relax, just count 1 to 10. Try this if it is possible. Do you know how well that gives you an impact? Your patience level improves a lot, where you tend to hear things, where you tend to follow whatever someone is telling. Because it's not just 1 to 10. When you count that 1 to 10, you try to concentrate on various things, where you try to think about breathing, you try to relax yourself, you make your body loose, you try to sit in a calm place, isn't it? Some people try to hear relaxing music. There are different applications where you can go through any kind of applications, where you can turn on many things like this, where you can meditate. Then comes counseling. What do you understand by counseling? Anyone? What do you understand by counseling? Students, am I being audible? What do you understand by counseling? Anyone? Be it some kind of ashrams, or there are certain companies or uh, a specific office, counseling office, which is there where people tend to approach them. They try to talk, they try to take advices from the counselors. There are people who try to manage their stress. Say, for example, if I am stressed out with some particular thing, I try to reach out to a kind of a counselor, and he gives me a talk therapy. He tells me that this is how you have to follow things. This is how it's okay, that there is no issue with that. Or they try to relax your mind in such a way that they try to ask what kind of problems you have, and they tend to give you simple solutions. Then they give you life coaching. Some people, especially this happens to students when it comes to life coaching. There are certain programs that take place in various places where career programs, especially where they concentrate highly on these 10th standard students. When it comes to 10th standard students, what is the next thing they are going to do? They are going to get a good college. They don't know which course to go through. So they try to manage, they try to create a program in any hall or any auditoriums. So they try to give counseling on that, telling who are good at what. For them, choosing career becomes very easy, where you can find what is suitable for you. Say, for example, now someone is good at maths, someone is good at science, someone is good at English, someone is good at their aim would be on engineering, but there are certain subjects which might be very difficult, which they cannot go through. At that moment, these coachings take place, these kind of career trainings takes place, telling if which stream if you go, what are the growths. Say, for example, if you are doing engineering, then you can apply for MS in any other outside countries, isn't it? Then you they try to give you coaching in that way, where you take in engineering there are various fields. It's, for example, electrical, mechanical, computer science. If you're good at computers, you can choose for computer science. And if you don't want to do engineering and you want to do computer science, you can choose with commerce, where there is the degree called BCA, isn't it? So they try to check what are you good at, and they try to give you courses. If you're doing BCA, what is the next master degree you can do, and what are the courses you can go through, which are the companies who they would look for. So they try to give you a vision for the next 5 years. That is your PU degree and your 3 years of degree. They give you a vision for the next 5 to 7 years, or 8 years, or 10 years. If you're good at English, you can go through any other degrees. Then you can go do PhD on English, isn't it? So these kind of things would be thought when it comes to counseling. So that is how you try to manage stress. When it comes to choose your career and you don't even know what to choose, that is a kind of stress. And when you approach these kind of people, they tend to explain you very well. Okay, let's keep getting further. Then which are the other helpful tips that you would come across? First thing is changing perceptions and expectations. Especially this happens a lot when you're in there's something called as expectations versus reality, isn't it? When you're about to approach for a job, when you're about to approach for some kind of job profile, and when someone asks you that what kind of salary do you prefer, can you ask, as being a fresher, can you ask for 9 lakhs package or 10 lakhs package? So you should have whatever the job role has the package, you have to go through, you have to follow with that. Then changing perceptions, these are some of the things that helps in reducing stress. Always don't look at one point of view, try to look in different various points. Then break tasks into manageable parts. If you're given 5 different tasks, try to prioritize them. Make things which can be completed first, which is very easy, that can be completed even at the last moment, which is the first priority thing that has to be done, isn't it? So these are the things which goes in a sequence. Then set a reasonable and realistic goals. Try to focus on this date. Say for example, now I am going to uh, someone who is very healthy and they are thinking to reduce their weight. By tomorrow they cannot reduce their weight. How they set the goals, telling that by in within 30 days I will be reducing 4 kgs, I'll be reducing 5 kgs, I will plan my diet accordingly, isn't it? So these are some of the things that you will have to go through. Then avoid procrastination. Try to set boundaries to what you have, isn't it? Then don't compromise your values or beliefs. Whatever you're stuck to your brain, try to follow that. Okay? Always try to follow that. Don't try to postpone things. Don't try to compromise. Okay, this can be done even tomorrow. No, try to follow that. You're managing time. When you're managing proper time, that moment you don't even try to you won't even feel like that you have completed the task. Then schedule me time. Always make sure that you spend time for yourself. If you're leading a mechanical life, you cannot concentrate on yourself. You must have some time for yourself. When you're given a task in the company, or when you're given a task, you complete the task and make sure that you give space for your time. Okay, avoid caffeine. As I told, coffee helps you in reducing stress, but that should not exceed a lot. Consumption of too much coffee is also not good, it contains caffeine. Okay, so be careful with that when you are especially consuming coffee. Then comes benefits of stress management. So what are the benefits? Some of the benefits from stress management is physical health gets better, where you get more energy and stamina. When you're about to manage stress, you feel relaxed. Your physical health will be good, in a good condition. You'll be having a control on your body. Then emotions are stabilized. You try to improve positive attitude when you're following all these tips, when you're doing meditation, when you're doing exercise. Some people relieve their stress by cycling. Some people relieve their stress by going by taking a ride to any of the nature place. Some people get relaxed by traveling to by traveling anywhere. Some people get relaxed when they are in swimming. So there are many things. Each one of them have their own ways of handling stress. When they're doing that, they tend to have stabilized emotions. They tend to have a positive attitude. They try to improve their patience. Then they try to be very happy. Then ability to focus. When you try to manage your stress, you can focus on things what you have been doing. As I told you that you'll be maintaining a checklist, isn't it? Then how do you relax? Our brain fires electrical waves at 14 or more cycles a second. Did you know that? These are beta waves and are great for getting tasks done. When you're about to give a task, you try to manage things a lot. Your brain runs in such a way that you have to plan it within very few seconds. Taking few minutes to relax deeply slows your brain waves down. What does it happens when you're giving 5 to 10 different tasks all jumbled together? You don't know which one to prioritize. At that time, the electrical waves are running at 14 plus cycles a second. So when you relax and think about it, don't you think you get time? You try to manage how things to be done. These slower waves are alpha waves, where they occur only between 7 to 14 cycles a second. That is the place where you try to manage things, isn't it? Studies show alpha wave to improve learning. When you're given four different subjects and you are supposed to read it for the test, are you going to read the complete four subjects? The beta waves start getting increased. But when you're taking one particular subject and you're keeping a task telling that you will be completing it within 5 hours of time, isn't it? At that time, when you keep such kind of task, then it runs in alpha waves where you're planning things together. These are some of the apps that will be you can have multiple applications, especially it comes to iPhone or Play Store. You can have multiple applications to meditate, to hear nature sounds. That is complete relaxation, guided meditation for happy and stress-free life. Then the mindfulness of app and calm. That is a kind of application where you can meditate, you can sleep. Some people are who are insomniacs try to download this kind of applications where they try to hear soothing melodious tunes and they try to get sleep. Insomniacs are those person who doesn't get sleep even at night. Okay, then Om Vana, where you would try to meditate for everyone, where there are soothing talks or soothing things that will be directions would be given. Okay, then brief mindfulness exercise. Just sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and listen to what things you can see. Especially when you're running, when having a walk, you try to think about various things. You try to think about your office, you try to think about the task that has to be done tomorrow, what are you'll start prioritizing, isn't it? So the main key for this is balance. always try to balance things. Make sure that you balance things very well, where all the situation is in your control. I hope everyone have enjoyed the session. Please do feel free if you're having any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much for attending the session in this morning. And give me a moment. I'll be sharing the attendance link. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ali. So for more things, please try to subscribe our channel and try to sign up with our application, that is seventhsenstalent.com. Okay. So it was really a nice time. Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much. So with today we'll be ending the session. Have a great day, guys.